back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here, and we're going live on the interwebs. Back, fellow armchair. All right, looks like we are live on everything we needed to be. All right, we're going to be playing some Americans, at least to start off with. So Dino and I, let's go see what we can teach them, whoever we're going to be end up fighting. I don't know. Well, I'm going to go up the left side of the map. Bam. Wasn't fast enough. Yeah, reload. Come on, crew, you gotta get better.
Hello.
Hey, Arno.
Greetings, my overlord.
We are playing Americans like you wanted to. So get a 3-3
3-3, alright.
American lineup because you wanted to play Shermans.
Yes.
He is lying.
I don't know what
the way.
I just been thinking about Sherman tanks all week. I don't know what it is.
That's fine. We can do something different once in a while.
Yes.
Down up there.
Gamer was not entirely truthful, by the way, because I don't have a good American lineup, so instead I'm playing the French.
Yes, but with Shermans, so.
Yes.
Yes, the surrender monkeys.
Oh shit. Man, I am just getting shut out this way. Hello, folk, and hello, Writer M. How you doing? Oh boy, yeah. I guess we're gonna go 105s. No, we're not gonna go. Yeah, we will. We're gonna go this because it is somewhat deserty. Okay, well, yeah, I really, really wish they would start including artillery sights on these vehicles.
That would be cool.
Because this is a 105 Sherman. It was designed to be able to be used as artillery, as well as sort of direct fire support, against bunkers and things. And I'm pretty sure it had artillery sights that I should be able to sort of sit back and just shell a position with. Now, how well would I hit things? I don't know if I can't see them. And I don't mean, poking on the mini-map and saying, fire at that location. I mean, looking through the sights.
Yeah. You need someone in a forward position to guide your fire then.
Well, then you have somebody do the scouting kind of thing, or
yeah, I know. I actually did that like a couple of years ago with guys from my old regiment. Not a real one, of course, but like a Napoleonic reenactment one.
Right. Yeah.
And
I've been in those kinds of things.
And that's essentially what we did. We 3 of us were in the German artillery piece.
Right.
And remainder, and one was in like a scout vehicle.
Yep, you do that, or even if you don't have that, you could still do the old, "Hey, I bet you they're on the point," or whatever, and still do that. And I wish they had that for all the proper artillery vehicles, and they have a bunch of those for Germany and the lineup, especially things like the SIG 33. That's still alive. It's temporarily immune. Now it's dead because somebody else shot it just after I did. Uh-oh. Pick them up there. Let's see here.
Puny Germans. I am possessed by the spirit of Napoleon.
He has a Napoleon complex.
Oh no, not again.
At least that time I hit him. Yeah.
I love this thing. Alright, now he got me.
And I'm reloaded, and I have engine back. And I just put a round on him, and no damage.
It should have done some damage.
I would have thought, but then again, I'm not worth thunder. Now I'm in one of the best close-range anti-aircraft guns.
That was a Stuka.
Yeah, it was is the operative word there. I did not shoot it down, but I did hit it.
I saw it. I'm looking at the stream, so.
They should have a little truck when you deploy the ammunition. They should have a little truck drive up, or just a truck drive up, and drop off a couple of boxes of ammunition and then drive away.
Or let infantry bring it.
No, because if you're talking artillery shells, I mean the 50 cal ammo, sure they could carry some ammo cans of that.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I'm talking about. You know.
yeah, but like each nation, because there's some are because this is also for the artillery. Just have a truck come up, based on the nationality, a Russian truck, a Gauze, whatever, or an American truck, or at least a Jeep or something showing up with or Kuba wagon showing up and dropping some ammo there. Oh, they're on the point. Put the rounds on A.
The French 450 cals.
Come on, there's nothing in the sky to shoot it. Doesn't the enemy team know that just as they're supposed to be achieving victory, everyone's supposed to go into the air? I mean, that's the rules in War Thunder, especially if you're playing Germany.
They are not listening to the snail.
Get enough to... Oh, shit. Now I lost my engine. Well, hurry up on these people just before we die. You, shooting at you, and I died. Okay, I'm returning to home. This time we'll get Arno in.
Yeah.
So we'll have victory.
Are you sure about that?
Well, if we don't, we're blaming you. So.
Hey, come on, don't blame me so short before my birthday. Come on.
Well, we'll still blame you. Because it will be Arno's fault.
But with a smile?
Why would we smile?
Because you're laughing at me?
Yes, well, of course.
That's technically a smile, so nah. Alright, where are we going, gamer? What tank?
Well, I'm going in the M4A1. I'm going to go up the left side of the map.
I'll join you.
Because I expect the right side of the map to be filled with people, so big traffic jam.
Ah, look at this beautiful thing. Oh.
See where the fire's coming from. hit, and he killed me. He's immobilized. The tank destroyer, the M44, is immobilized.
Right there.
I'm coming to help, Arno. Hey, you got him.
Oh, that was actually quite a lucky shot.
Uh-oh. Oh, right here, okay. There's two of them. Right, there's an Italian Sherman over here,
to the right, Roger.
And oh, there's three. Oh shit, I got my gunner. And my breach now. Damn.
Damn.
Now my transmission. Okay, damn battalion. Let's see if I can do this thing. Yeah, almost enough. Very sneaky and flanky and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, the M22. Ah, damn, I should have done it in my lineup.
Dropping artillery on C. Lum could play this very well. I never
I
really
just
did
love
it.
playing this.
Yeah, I wish Lum would show up more.
Oh dear. The enemy team has an 88.
Oh, I see movement here, gamer.
Okay, I got two of them over here. Let's see if I can get behind this guy. Okay. Okay, his driver is out. He's dead. There's one more coming around the big tanks. Oh, there's the little Italian that got me. Let's see if I can kill him. Critical hit.
The little
Driver.
Italian that good.
Italian anti-tank gun. Okay, and
Damn.
got him.
I shot down with my machine gun 3 bombs which detonated, destroying the airplane.
Yep, I've seen that. I've done that a few times.
Can you clip that? Can you clip that?
I will. Well, I will save the replay.
The
Also
If you mean
good,
that.
also good.
If you mean that.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know how
yeah.
to touch things.
It's
And
the
then I got
replay.
nuked by a German KV-2, I mean. With giant googly eyes. It's kind of cute.
Aw. Oh, sorry.
I spawned in front of you. Okay, somebody's shooting this little guy right in front of us, it seems like. Fire.
Got him.
Good job, Arno.
Good. So, but be careful if he hasn't been taken out yet. There should be a.
Oh, there's another one over here. Oh, he's the big googly eye one. Okay, he's down.
He's good.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right, that's
Fire's being put out.
That's good. I'll move a bit ahead.
Yeah, watch out. There's artillery coming.
Oh dear, yeah.
Keep going. Keep
Just
going.
4 seconds.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna swing wider of that artillery instead of drive through it.
There's a Turan,
We got him.
and there's someone behind those trains, I believe. No, right ahead.
Oh, and somebody else got me. On the other
And
flank,
instead-
on your right, there's an Italian Sherman.
Yeah, no, I can't do anything. I'm completely surrounded. Yeah, the Italian Sherman. We couldn't turn my turret. The turret of that thing is really slow. And there's also a Puma. I see. So, based on our performance, it seems that we are trying to emulate the Americans, not during, say, the Battle of the Bulge, but during Kasserine Pass.
Yes. Got me.
In other words, we're getting the shit kicked out of us.
Yep. So we blame Arno because he wanted us to play Shermans.
Yes.
Hey,
yes,
folks,
and,
thank you very
yes,
much.
And now the Luftwaffe is strafing us, and we have been defeated.
Okay. Let's see. Thank you so much, Folk. Folk asked, can you ask Dino to do Bruno Gann's impression of, I guess, the Fegelen scene here?
Fegelein!
Fegelein! Fegelein! There you go.
Bring see mir Fegelein. Is that what you just did?
There you go. I did the little thing.
Do it again when I'm not talking over, if you would.
All right.
Fegelein, bringen Sie mir Fegelein.
There you go.
Thank you. When a guy tips you $5, you know, you gotta put on a good.
Thank you for doing that for Gamer.
It's all Arno's fault for us losing that match.
Natürlich.
Hey ZZ, how you doing?
Aber natürlich.
Yes, rule number 1. It's Arno's fault. Whenever
Unless
something goes
Toyjet is
wrong.
online, then it's his fault.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's rule number 2.
Also true.
Okay, I'm going to go north around A. Good, still working and getting paid for it, which is nice, yes.
And for A1 Gamer?
Yep.
Nice.
I think the Democrats have made a very bad tactical move with this government shutdown that they've enforced. the Republicans said, hey, look, we'll do a clean continuing resolution for 90 days. Just continue funding everything in the government at the current levels. And, no changes, 90 days, so we can negotiate. The Democrats decided to shut down the government because every time in the past when they controlled the media, and I remember back in the 80s, they would get everybody up in arms. I'm going to lose my Social Security payments. Grandma's going to lose her Social Security payments. So it was very, very effective. It's no longer effective. And they've painted themselves into a corner. They don't know how to get out. And I think much of America is going to learn that we don't need the federal government as much as we thought. Well, I think the rest of us are going to realize we don't need to give people all those food stamps. Because look, in the town that I'm in, where my secret mountain base is, but I also see it back in California, in the LA area, we'll just call it that. There were help wanted signs everywhere. Okay. And damn it. Back up. Fire, kill. Good. Martyr down. Okay, that Stug is doing too well. Damn, he got me. So
Got stuck.
I how do I put this? If you are healthy, able-bodied person and there's jobs out there, you should be getting very little, monetary assistance from the government. And I put it that way. We can still talk about health costs and, having health care fully or partially paid by the government for people that aren't making very much money. And we can talk about deliveries of government food. Because the government does buy a lot of food. Hello, deep sea tanker. But actual deliveries of money, very little. Now, maybe, and I can very much see and agree to the idea of a graduated payments. If you're making X, but X is still low, we'll give you some money for food, not like a full food allowance. Until you get to Y, a level that, okay, that should be able to pay for your food. Okay, I can agree to some of that. But by doing that, by doing what they're doing, it encourages people to have low-paying jobs when there's so many jobs out there. I was at the grocery store a couple of nights ago, and the manager was complaining about short staffing. Now, I don't know if she was, because I have worked for the overall, not the particular, but the overall chain of grocery stores. So I don't know if it's the company not hiring enough people or focusing their people at different times of day. or whether it's they would want to hire more people, but they hello. I'm gonna push behind this guy to probably turn. I gotta drive this thing like a stud. Its barrel is. Oh, hello. Oh no, that's a friendly. I just saw you peeking out. I thought you were an enemy. Or whether they just don't have enough employees that they want to hire more. Well, the way you fix that is by increasing your pay. Now, partially the problem may be is that people are getting so much government support that they don't feel the need to work. And I think that, yes, it has, Deep Sea Tanker. I do recognize the name, but it has been quite a bit of time since I remember you being here. There we go. Gun. So, and also a lot of that government assistance goes to foreigners, some of them here legally, but we don't need foreigners here that we are supporting their, supporting them. And if you go, oh, refugees, okay, but how many refugees? For how long? And I think they're in not necessarily refugees, but foreigners are here in the millions that we are supporting. So if the American voters wake up to how much we are spending on foreigners, I think we very well may. I've left a lot of Discord to clean them up. Don't quite get that, but so and he's immobilized. So if somebody's going around behind him, I don't know. He's right here. Okay. Of course, I will have a biased perspective, but I will be curious to see the results as well. If what you're saying is true, Gamer, then the Republicans should continue what they're doing since it's generally a federal workforce as Democrats. Well, yes. Well, here's the thing. If how do I put this? Labor shortages are basically artificial, because if you need more labor, you will raise the price. Now, I've seen, particularly in California, because they have extremely high minimum wages, more and more automation at the fast food chains, where you go into the area, show up an electronic kiosk, you type in your order. So they're trying to reduce the number of people. Trust me, McDonald's, Burger King, whatever, will soon be getting burger flipping machines. That will put together your hamburger automatedly. You'll have to load the feeding trays, but the amount of people needing to load the feeding trays will be a lot less. So if the price of labor goes up high enough, they will add these machines. Now, if the price of labor goes up artificially by, say, putting on a minimum wage, that can create unemployment because the companies won't want to hire the labor because it's too expensive, and the and the people will choose not or will want to work but can't find work because the jobs will be closed because they're too expensive, which will then mean more government support, but also those people don't have enough to work to buy stuff in the economy. But if it's the price of labor is going up is because, hey, at $15 an hour, I've only got 2 employees and myself, the manager or the owner or whatever. I need 2 more employees. Well, maybe I should raise that to $17 or $20 an hour or something like that. And then I can get fully staffed. And that would then mean that these people are now fully employed. And then they would have enough money, whether it's my business or some other business, but employees at other businesses would have enough money to come and patronize your business. They wouldn't be like, oh boy, McDonald's is expensive. I can only afford to go there every other day or something instead of 3 times a day or whatever it is. They'll have the money coming in and it will work. And so it's a natural leveling process if you allow the market to happen. But if, like in the 19th century, you were having industrialization and you were having a lot of people thrown off of work from farms, so you had an oversupply of labor. If you're in the developed world and you're allowing mass people coming in from the undeveloped world, you will have a huge supply of labor that is willing to work cheap. So you will have too much labor, so it'll keep the price down. And this is where the sort of, in America at least, the sort of the Democrat and the Chamber of Commerce Republican pushed for the same policies. They wanted a somewhat open border, the Democrats to get more voters that will vote Democrat, because even if there had been amnesties, but even if they are not the people that are anti-illegal voting, but even if the people that are coming in are not voting because they're not citizens, their children would be. So in 10 or 20 years, they'll get to the age of voting and they will have voting rights. The Chamber of Commerce Republicans will have the cheap labor. Now they did not, they both sort of see the beneficial elements for themselves. But if you close that labor market and you reduce the amount of money for people who are able-bodied, and then you talk about, but the single mother who has a child that's 2 years old, she can't go to work because she has to take care of that child. Bullshit. You know what her job could be? A daycare person. And one of the children in the daycare could be her child. And so she could run work in a daycare thing and take care of 10 children or 5 children or whatever. And then those other mothers that are single mothers that need it, they can go get a job and put their kid in daycare. So it all works out if it's all set there. Now let's see what I have top tier Germany. Well, very good, Deep Sea Tanker. We mostly play World War II, so top tier is a bit above us. I believe the work I do is beneficial to the government, but there are so many inefficiencies in the way to improve the value for the taxpayer. But I could be wrong, and if I am, then I would certainly take the job into the private sector rather than be a leech. Yes, hello, M. Ryder. Okay, you're back. I know you posted early on. There are hidden externalized costs not on the ledger, such as foreigners not able to read road signs. Yes, we've seen a few Indians that cause that. Now, I will say, I sort of know I have a vague idea of what you do for the government, obviously, in the federal government specifically. My dad, basically his entire career was working for the Navy, as a civilian employee in the, as part of the Navy Department of the Department of Defense. So yeah, you do need federal employees that work for the federal government. Absolutely. And now, are there inefficiencies in probably most, if we're talking about, upper level departments, like things like the FDA and the FAA, and at that level, I'm sure that there are inefficiencies, and we could stream back people. And before this this shutdown, which people were claiming, well, Doge is cutting traffic controllers for the FAA. And Elon Musk, who was running Doge at the time, tweeted back, no, we're not. We're cutting employees at the FAA, but we're actually trying to hire more traffic controllers. So they were, because, safety of airlines, the government cutback's going to hurt, fewer FAA traffic controllers. Oh my God, let's cry about this. And no, he's going, no, we're trying to get more of those exact people you're trying to get. You're talking about. We're just trying to get rid of the inefficient bureaucrats that are there. And so, yeah, it's they're trying to do all this kind of stuff. And just trying to be, efficient about governance and efficient about government employees. Us. Black wheel. Oh, I got shot and killed. And so, yeah, there are a lot of auxiliary costs to the economy. And I am all for, to a certain degree, a certain level. I mean, we can't throw endless amounts of money, but I'm all for supporting people who have real disabilities. And I'm more for people supporting, well, one of the things that the Democrats are fighting for, along with health care and other SNAP for foreigners, whether legal or illegal, we can debate that, but they're definitely for funding foreigners here. They are also trying to continue payments for Obama, because Obama, it's a straight up fact. Healthcare costs more now than it did before Obamacare came into it. And it was sold to the American people. It was going to reduce healthcare costs for the people who are not poor and needing support for healthcare. And all of that has gone up for people. And even if an individual person hasn't have to pay more, their company, their employer, however you want to say it, has to pay more. So to keep it alive, about, 10 or 20 years ago, or however long ago it was, some time ago, they gave financial support to middle and upper middle class people to help cover their additional healthcare costs. Well, like we see with government aid to college scholarships, the college fees skyrocketed. Well, healthcare fees have skyrocketed too. So, come on, get on target. You're too. Oh no, you see me. Okay, I tracked you is all I did. Okay, let's. Your teeth is drawn. See, I got a 50. You're just an armored car, and you're dead. And something else. Hetzer got me. So they're wanting to continue this subsidies for like middle and upper middle class people, with income. Well, because they've wrecked the healthcare market, they feel they need to, because it will put the cost from the federal government back onto the people. What they need to do is scrap all of Obamacare. Just go back to even the terrible system that was there before, because that terrible system is less terrible than our current system. And people, even the lower working class people, think that it may be better for them, but their employers, as well as the government, will take more out of their salary, because people don't often realize that it's not just, I pay income tax. You also pay, blanking on it. There's other taxes that come, a payroll tax and a few other taxes that come out of your paycheck, as well as the percentage from income tax. Now, if you're not making enough money, you don't pay any income tax, but you still pay the payroll taxes. So, and if your employer, which has to pay for some of this healthcare money and taxes, even if they're paying it, that still means a cost to them, which means as an employee you cost more, which means they can't afford to hire as many people, or their products have to be sold at a higher price, which is another cost. If we cut somebody's salary by 20%, but we cut the cost of living by 30%, that is effectively a 10% increase in pay. So all of this goes into this, I don't know if Ponzi scheme is technically the right answer, but this sort of constantly, we'll fix it with government support, which just means we'll, do things that cost people money or are inflationary. So if you just simply increase the money supply, and the government spends it in all of that, it will increase, inflation. So that means things cost more. Which means what you get paid has less buying power. I see the chats are there. I'll get to it when I'm not driving a tank and looking for an enemy. So don't worry. So if we, healthcare is a major cost, rent's a major cost, and whether, and I say rent, I know people in my secret mountain base here that complain about they can't find affordable housing, and particularly in one of the areas, it's very hard to find affordable housing. Well, tell you what, one of my neighbors, there's I think somewhere between 6 and 8 people living there, and they're Mexicans. Very nice people. I know some of them. Know them like they, I know their names. I'm not going to mention, Bob and Sam. No. But they're not all one family, or at best, I don't quite know all their relationships, but at best they're very distantly extended family. At best. Well, the people that I know that are looking for housing, they're wanting a single person apartment. They're not wanting to share a bedroom with somebody that they casually know. Where the house that I'm talking about, that's 6, 8 people, its maximum, I haven't been in it, but I know its maximum is a 3-bedroom house. So there are living, much more densely than the way an Anglo-American would choose to live, using that word. So they get housing, but they also drive up housing costs. All these various immigrants drive up housing costs. If they weren't here and driving that up, it would bring the cost of housing down. So all of this is inflationary pressures on our economy. And this holds true for any well-developed modern economy. That certain automation will be good for it, but it has to be, it will be naturally balanced, shall we say, if you have a market economy situation. And Bill, you were a good shot. Parents with 2-year-old children used to enjoy affordable child care before the government made child care more expensive with overregulation. Well, parents with the 2-year-old children used to had very affordable daycare called the Mother. So yeah, if you were talking parents, it's also another situation here with the labor is pushing an economy that requires married women to work full time. And notice I said requires and full time. I think economies, because we can look at the American economy up to sometime in the 1980s, most working class, which does include the lower class, most what we'll call working class households, if they were married, the wife did not work outside of the home. Definitely in the 70s and before. I don't know quite where we see a major shift in all of that. And since the 80s, all we have seen is more and more levels of automation, levels of machine assistance in doing work of various types. We can go back to the proverbial secretary that she knew how to take shorthand, and she could sit on her boss's knee and take shorthand or whatever. Well, now you have, and you've had over the time, for a while it was dictaphones that you would talk into and it would record, and then a woman would normally, but someone would sit there and type it up. But now we have text-to-speech software that if some high-end industrial, an Elon Musk or somebody doesn't want to sit there and type, he can just talk into the computer and it will come out, and he can, have all that done. And then he can have a multifunctional assistant quickly scan over it to make sure that it flows or reads well as a written text, a quick little edit to it. But that person is also doing other office kind of stuff. So you need less labor. Even if you still have some labor, supporting that, you have a lot less labor. Or if we look at a union based automotive factory, and then you look at an Elon Musk based Tesla manufacturing factory, you will see a lot more labor inefficiencies and also a lot lower build quality in a union. I'm talking current now, not way back whenever. Automotive manufacturing process. So, if we are having a labor shortage, if you will, not enough people wanting to have jobs, well, you can do more automation like the Elon Musk factory and invest in it, and not try to require as many people working in your labor force. That's because subsidies just end up getting eaten by the providers as, well, I wouldn't necessarily say as profit. Usually subsidies are to prop up domestic industry, not lower prices. Well, ZZ, because like I have worked in, I'm going to come in that. The government's subsidies, sometimes, yes, we'll go into profit, but sometimes they're just inflationary and they eat up costs all along the supply chain. And when you also increase costs, as you increase government spending, the cost of the government, there's only two ways to deal with, there's three ways to deal with it. One is just to have the government go into debt and hope the debt fairy pays it off someday. That is inflationary. Or the government spends, prints more money and spends it, which is sort of the same thing, but not exactly. That's inflationary. Or you tax businesses or individuals or whatever, or both, more, you tax them more, and that's inflationary. So more government spending is inflationary. The way they dealt with it during World War II was to get up to, I don't know if they ever got to a negative income tax, meaning paying more than 100% at any level, but they were getting into around 90% income tax level for the upper tax brackets. And that was because people were making a lot of money, and not just rich people. Now, your average factory worker wasn't paying 90%. It was the uppermost levels of the income tax bracket. But it was higher up and down the chain of workers. And one of the and yes, it was to pay for the war in part, but it was also, if you're going to the factory and making an M1 Garand, or you're going to a factory and making a tank, or you're going to a factory and making a truck, but all these tanks, trucks, and rifles were not being put on the open market, because a truck or a rifle can be put on the open market in America. Trust me, they sell a lot. M1 Garands are for sale right now that are new made, and trucks are obviously being sold on the American, market of various types. Tanks, not so much. But putting those, but if the government's buying them, that means all those workers who are getting paid money to work don't have products to spend their money on. So it would be massively inflationary. And that's some of the reasons for rationing. Because like in America, unlike just about everywhere else on the planet, during World War II, we had no need to ration gasoline. But we rationed gasoline. And that was mainly to limit the use of rubber, because if you're driving around a lot, you'll wear tires out a lot, and at the economy of scale, that means a lot of rubber, and we just didn't have the rubber because we hadn't quite set up as many rubber or synthetic rubber factories that we were working on with, what was this? IG Farben of some nation. I forget what nation that, I forget which major American company was working with IG Farben to come up with synthetic rubber. And the Japanese cut off the natural rubber, or at least much of the natural rubber supply during the war. So, sometimes these policies are not what they seem. But, when you're trying to run in a managed economy like World War II, a command economy, it's not like, what's the price of a Sherman going to be? If they don't make enough, we'll just have to offer them more. No, it's, you will make Sherman tanks. It's no longer up for debate as to what you'll make, and we will pay you a price that you can make it at. Meaning, cover your, if you're making a Sherman tank, pay for your steel, pay for your labor, pay for, all the different things so that we keep the economy moving. But beyond that, you're making it at the government, demanded price. That works for a short while and works when you have it in a command economy. Damn, how did he survive all that? Yeah, 80% of Obamacare premium is paid for by the taxpayers, folks said. Yes, exactly. And that is what needs to change. And there's, to my knowledge, two major costs that are driving up healthcare costs. One is the government subsidies themselves. Two is our American system, as we were talking about yesterday, in which lawyers get to sue people, and all they're out if they lose is their expenses. Where if you had loser pays, or if the person bringing the suit pays the defendant's fees if they lose, you would radically reduce a lot of these fraudulent claims. Because I definitely want to be able to sue my doctor if I think there's negligence going on. But I don't need a horde of lawyers out there just trying to drum up business on speculation, where the person who bringing the suit doesn't have to pay anything, and if the lawyer thinks that there's either the case is very winnable, and or just simply the threat of the case gets the insurance company to settle, because the insurance company realized, well, we'll probably win this, but that's the bastard that got me. So that they go, oh, hey, a $10,000 payment to get this off of our back, or a $20,000 payment, we're going to spend $20,000. We're going to spend $30,000 just to defend this, and even if we think we've got a very winnable case, let's say, well, it's cheaper just to pay off these people than try to win the case and spend more money, so they just pay off this, so which drives up insurance premiums. Well, if you go, hey, you've got to pay somebody's fees if they lose, Well, then they ain't going to, and you also tie in the lawyers, the lawyer who's bringing the suit, since they may be the entity with the deepest pockets, because the plaintiff may be, poor, don't have any money to pay off the lawyer's fees. That would radically reduce frivolous or predatory lawsuits, which would bring down healthcare, because I know a major amount of the doctor's fees are the insurance that they have to maintain. And I personally don't, want insurance companies to go away by any means, but I don't need to simply have, and it's not even the insurance companies making a lot of money, because a lot of their they have a lot of expenses, paying off all of these various legal claims. I don't need the money just going through their system out there. So yes, so I think the government shutdown is a good thing. Okay. Well, market economies, so long as they stay market economies, solve most issues on their own.
Left or right spawn?
Right, left spawn. Left spawn. It's when they stop becoming a market economy, meaning there's no longer reasonable amounts of competition going on in a sector in the economy, meaning, if it's just Google out there that owns everything on the internet, well, then that's a monopoly. That's a problem. Even if they got there through a market economy, we have to keep, and that's where government regulation, one of the places that it should come in, is to keep it a market economy and not allow monopolies to form. Laws should require arbitration for malpractice claims. Well, arbitration, civil courts are in essence arbitration. I do understand that there is in certain contracts people put in, if there's a dispute, it'll go to arbitration, and there are, I knew one guy who had been a former judge, very well respected, who very well paid, I understand, did arbitration for some major situations in companies and whatnot. In that it's not going through the court system. It's an external person, not an employee of direct employee, and they get paid the same. And both sides have to agree upon the arbiter or whatever. It all depends on I guess it depends on the contract that you sign. But if you could stipulate that both sides have to agree upon the arbiter, that would solve some of the stuff. But yeah, I think both courts are useful for both civil and criminal cases. And I'm enough of an American to think, and suing people is great. You know why? Because otherwise, what's your other motive, or your other thing? Is physical violence. Somebody does something bad, and your other recourse is to Well, if you can't sue them, well, you know, depends on how bad, you may go take it out on, you know, on an individual who you feel has wronged you, whether it's your neighbor or the company you work for, or just some stranger who you know hits you with a car and you know leaves you somewhat crippled or whatever. You know, having courts solve those issues, it's great over, like I say, over physical violence over these kinds of things.
Yeah, there is actually also a very historical thing quite close to that, and that is Wehrgeld, which essentially translates to, it's an old German, well, more Germanic term that essentially translates to man money.
Right.
And Arno, right somewhere to our right there should be an enemy. I don't know where, but I...
The one that just shot Arna.
Probably. Where is he?
To the right, somewhere to the right. I couldn't see him.
I couldn't see him either. Let's see where he is. All right, yeah, he's hiding behind one of the ledges to the south.
Yes.
I'll mark him on the map somewhere where he is. He should be somewhere around there.
Okay, good to know. And so yes, and that would, like in the, you know, shall we say, tribal levels of government, that what I'm going to probably butcher it, Wehrgeld, or however you pronounce it, was probably set by, you know, a tribal elder, a tribal chieftain, whatever. You pay.
It wasn't even.
Right.
Yes, sometimes, but Wehrgeld was actually lasted into the early Middle Ages.
Oh, I understand. It goes on further,
and it was sometimes even like on like a feudal, sometimes declared on like a feudal level. But yes, it was usually essentially if you either like, sometimes if you steal from someone, sometimes if you hurt someone, or even if you kill someone, then essentially a single person or a group, a council would essentially determine how much the damage you did, how much that man in this case, which is where the name comes from, was essentially worth, and then you need to pay in order to be accepted again into polite society. You then would need to pay the family of the person you killed that amount of money. Otherwise, he could be executed or banished.
Right.
And it's a thing that happens actually quite a lot in like Icelandic sagas.
Right, and so you know that I do believe, because that type of thing goes back, I think, very far. Obviously, at some point, there's also, you know, the Roman court system too, but that is where I would say the court kind of element comes into our consciousness, that we would, you know, have some sort of trial, some sort of you know, counsel that would examine somebody's claims to see if they're justified, and then, well, what remedy can we do to address this, short of, you know, physical violence of somebody on somebody else? Because even if, you know, in a community, even if you're some woman or you know, teenage kid who's not very strong, or some little guy, you can walk up to some, you know, Conan the Barbarian, you know, in your tribe, in your situation, and put a knife in his back. You know, it's, people are vulnerable at some point, or slit his throat while he sleeps, or whatever it is. You know, you, to be able to live amongst people, physical violence would be a way to address just about any grievance. So you're trying to find other methods of dealing with. Okay, we got somebody behind us.
Alright, careful. South of A, there's a little Italian murder car that is very well camouflaged due to its, well, camouflage. Not any bushes, just its normal color scheme blends really well into the like gray, brown, greenish grass on this map, and it's really small and quite fast.
I got 3 on me. Not all Italian murder cars, but so I'm entirely favorable to have a court system out there, but it needs to be such that it doesn't artificially drive up costs for doing business. Because there's, I guess, 3 main costs, or 3 main reasons for inflation. One is the cost of labor. If the cost of labor goes up, and so, because if you're a business and you need steel, obviously you need miners, you need refiners, you need people that transport the steel from the steel mills to where it's going to be used. So you have a lot of labor in there. Another major cost is energy. If energy, whether it's coal, electricity, gasoline, if that goes up, that's going to drive up your cost. The third major is
Drop RD on H, open topped.
and that's the stug that I hit but no damage to it. Is things like increasing insurance payments, taxes, and all that kind of stuff. If those expenses are going up, they're going to drive up, at least drive up the cost of doing business. Regulations. Like it's not necessarily like income tax for the business, but if they've got regulations that they've got to hire a person to just make sure you're in compliance to the regulation, that's going to drive up business costs. Now, of course, we don't want zero regulation, but it all needs to be balanced. So if we reduce regulations, if we reduce energy costs, and if we allow the market level for labor, and if you can buy a decent steak dinner for $5, well, you don't need to be paid more than $2 or $3 an hour, because, well, let's say $3 an hour, because you can work an hour and a half for that decent. I'm talking not the greatest steak dinner on the planet, but a decent steak dinner. And in that kind of economy, for $5, you get a McDonald's dinner for 50 cents or something. So you can just be making a few dollars an hour. But if your steak dinner costs $60 or $80 an hour, well, that means to be able to afford even one of those once a week or something, I'm going to be starting on the left side. You've got to get paid more. So it's if we look at what people get paid per hour now versus the 1970s versus the 1920s, that's immaterial if you're not also looking at the cost of living. And to artificially, like they have in California, and they want to do nationwide, artificially set a minimum wage that's high, it's not going to help. because it will just drive up costs. So your $25 an hour living wage, well, that's a living wage to give you, all your food and your housing at the kind of housing we think people should have. What's your housing? Is it a single bed in a large dormitory type place, or is it a one bedroom, not just a studio, but a one bedroom apartment for a single person? What's your living wage, and what is it supposed to buy? Well, you give it a set minimum. Well, it's just going to drive up the costs of everything, and it'll be a continual spiral up without a a never-ending spiral of inflationary elements. It's sort of the it's the problem with communism. You're always bringing everything to the lowest common denominator. Okay, KV2, German KV2 down. I see you. I took out your engine and that's Doug is gone. Damn, I love this game. I wish I had this as a kid. For all that you younger people are unlucky in that you've grown up in this dystopian world, you grew up with some great things. I still will pick growing up in the 1970s over this, but damn, if I could have the good bits of this, as well as the good bits of living in the 1970s, that would be wonderful. Because kids, in the 1970s, toy guns looked like real guns. They didn't even have little plastic red end caps or any silliness like that. They actually looked like... Oh, there's a Puma out there. Okay, you're going to back up enough? No. Get up on this hill and see if I can take it out. Nowadays, all toy guns look like weird multicolored plastic craziness. Uh-oh. I think shot my 50. The 50. Come on, get going. Gotcha.
Order on the hill, directly front, gamer.
Thank you. As soon as I can move, I'll get him. Yeah. A lot of Panzer. I haven't seen the Martyr yet. I see him. Well, as a kid, I didn't really much know about the SDS and the Weather Underground. I know now what they were. I actually had a friend who was at, I think the big SDS shootout in the LA area. He was actually there as sort of a reporter, but on scene as it was happening. I think that's what it was, or was it the Weather Underground? One of those. He was there at the shootout that happened. You don't see me because you're not looking at me. You move, so I just got your engine in. Gotcha. We used to, can you imagine this? Think about this. Every single kid in the 1970s rode their bicycle without a bike helmet. I don't even think professional, motocross or whatever, but pedal bikes, even, good job, Arno. Any of those people, the BMX riders, wore any sort of helmets, but maybe they did. I don't remember, but I know I never wore a helmet riding a bicycle. I think it's insane that there's a law requiring helmets on bicycles. Now, I've had people talk about helmets on motorcycles, in that we have to pay for their health care if they crash or whatever. But nah, I'm not even buying that. Gotcha. Well, that was down. I know it sort of came out of California, but it was more down in Guyana. I remember that as a kid. That it happened. That made it to my consciousness at that time. That was a big enough thing in the news.
Seems my little plan of psychological warfare worked.
Aiming to the right. A Panzer IV F2 coming for you.
Okay. I see in front of me. Oh, I'm out of ammo. I didn't realize I was out of ammo. You got to put down an ammo box and get more ammo. So I can't even get this. Panzer F2 right in front of me. It's fast compared to my turret rotation. Come on, stop. Here.
Alright, that was a pretty funny glitch.
And I got Survivor. Yay. I mean, you don't even talk about, in the 1970s, we still had the Vietnam War. That was more prominent than Jamestown or the Weather Underground or anything like that.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Because, you can't look cool wearing a bicycle helmet. I'm sorry. You just can't.
I agree with you. I agree.
And so requiring helmets on bikes. Do they have those kind of laws in the Netherlands there, Arno?
Not per se.
Okay.
You can wear them, but it's not mandatory.
Right. Well, that's sensible. First sensible thing I've heard in Europe in a long time.
True that.
Yeah. That's something different than America is what I'm saying. Normally when you hear something different than America in Europe, it's unsensible stuff. But that is sensible. Yeah. Now they've made, and I don't know about the state I'm in now, and I'm pretty sure it was a state law in California that you had to wear a bicycle helmet when you're on a bike. But the idea that the police would give you a ticket or whatever, oh God, that's just silly. Silly.
Alright, I'm
Okay.
back.
Cool. Let's go then.
Where are we going, gamer?
I'm going up north around the map.
What tank?
Sherman.
Sherman, sure.
Maybe I should do the tank destroyer, but I did very well last match with that. But we'll try the Sherman. Sherman is overall a better tank, but the gun is better on the M10.
76, yeah.
Yeah. But, complete armor does matter in this game, for like artillery strikes and whatnot. But the turret rotation and everything with the Sherman is so much better than with the M10. The Sherman is just better overall. Until the Panther comes out, the Sherman is a great tank for World War II. Once you start getting the Panthers, that becomes a problem. But until that point. And they were bringing in the 76mm gun, but at least one division was offered Shermans with a 76mm gun, but they actually turned them down prior to D-Day. They turned them down. No, our 75s are good enough, the divisional commander or whoever in the division. Meaning they had them there, they had them in England, ready to turn them over. Nope, we'll keep our 75mm guns. And oopsie. Got him. You got him. Very good, Arno. Very good. Uh-oh. You got Dino. That's not
No, not
supposed
the
to happen.
S-35. Not the tank would have saved France. No.
Gotcha.
RDMB.
Okay, gentlemen, I think I'm going to head to B because it looks like there's enemy to fight over there. And
Follow you.
there's these other two guys in light tanks sort of patrolling here. Hopefully move in on the flank. Oh, there's somebody up there. If you can still kill him, I don't know. Get killed. Oh, got a guy on this hill here in front of me.
Got him.
Arno got him. Good. I saw somebody still alive. Okay, somebody just shot at me from the left. Be careful. There's a baddie over there. Got him. You. You. Who's shooting at me?
Hello.
Hey, werewolf man.
How you doing?
Good.
Want to join us for a mission or two?
I'm doing the flight challenge
Okay, cool.
so I can get the V-173.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it, but I decided not to. I don't do enough aircraft to do that well enough. Okay.
Well,
Now
that and you have to be rank 3 or above, which you probably not.
No, actually, I do have that in America.
BKV. PV.
I used to play a lot of naval arcade in which I had aircraft. So, in arcade air, I'm sort of okay-ish, but in realistic air, I'm not.
more realistic here. You actually have to aim
Yes.
and have skill.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. And I don't. Not in the air.
And that's the only game mode I play, is air realistic.
Hey. Doesn't see me, or he sees Dino. Dino got some. Good. Oop, I just got fired at. Oop, and I got killed. On the point, there's a martyr.
He managed to reload faster than I could turn my turret and body simultaneously. Probably maxed out.
See you now. He got me. Well, it's good. Yes, I do, ZZ. I'm enjoying being in here in my secret mountain base. Oh, you've got somebody with you. What now?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
He's smoking up his body, can't move.
Okay, I hit him, no damage. Let's see where he is, though. And no damage, another hit. There we go. Let me know when you have an enemy to kill. I'll come and help you.
You didn't need to, but thank you anyways.
Okay. I just believe we gotta kill him as fast as possible.
That's also true.
Because we don't know when there's going to be coming, you know, some other enemy coming up. Like we got a guy in front of me here who I got him with my 50 because he took out my gun barrel.
Dropping RD on the AA.
Right.
Gamer multiple behind us.
They turning around. Oh, getting you from both sides.
Yeah, it's Duke 3A.
And the F2 got me, or F1. Short barreled. I'm going to miss California, but I am happy where I am as well.
Yeah, so how are your first few days there?
Good. The weather's still nice. It gets cold at night, but just don't go out at night so much. But it's doing good. It's just a lot of stress have gone away of getting out of California. Dealing with movers and all that stuff is now past me.
You're still gonna build that studio, or?
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, I'm not living in the house that I'm going to plan to live in for a long time. I'm living here until I can get where I want to live, finish being remodeled, and then I will move over there. It's very near where I am now, but not the same location. Supposedly a critical hit, but and this 50 is wonderful. Just kill tanks with 50 cals. And final blow. Well, I will be right back, and then we'll play another mission. If you guys like. Okay, I am back. So yes, I'm going to build a studio at my other house that I'm coming in, which will be the focus of a. Oh no, I don't want to leave. Okay, okay. Arno isn't ready. Come on, ready up, Arno.
Oh, sorry.
If you got something you need to upgrade or whatever, fine. But once we do that, let's get going. And so I'm going to focus on a new channel.
A new channel, you say?
Yes. Gonna not be a gaming channel. That doesn't mean that this channel is going to go away, but obviously I've just been doing streaming on this channel. I don't know how much.
Like a gun show things and such?
For the new channel, yes. It'll be sort of history and guns and history of guns and commentary and other sort of adventures and things, but very much with a firearms and history focus.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Is what I'm looking at doing. Once my life continues to settle down more, I think I will have more time to make content for here. The Crisis Report channel, I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. There's been some stuff recently I would have loved to make some videos on, but just time and everything hasn't been good. So I don't know what I want to do with that channel. Because that channel very much, as in sort of the title says, Crisis Report, is to talk about certain events that are happening sort of in their immediacy, as opposed to, historical context and all that kind of stuff. To a point, one of the firearm stuff will be somewhat like a lot of other channels, but what I sort of want to do, and I know some of you who are listening have already heard me talk about this, is to look at a firearm or some other object and talk about the why it was created, not so much the how or whatever. Why do you have a particular gun being made, or something what's going on in the world that makes the reason for it. Use as an example, why did Czechoslovakia feel it needs to make brand new firearms after World War I, when there's huge amounts of surplus of firearms on, out there. Well, it feels very threatened, and and there's a lot of issues going on, and examine something like that. And this is like in the early 1920s. It's producing brand new rifles that are not any sort of improvement over previous. Man, you didn't penetrate there. The 3, there you go, that one did. Just as I'm getting ready to lead you. So I think most of my current viewers would like it. I don't know that they'll watch. I don't know. But oh, I didn't see him. I'm not sure how much live streaming I'll do on the channel. And it's definitely my thoughts are definitely more of an edited video, and putting out 1 or 2 videos a week, kind of thing. Not ZZ would watch, okay, and and not so much trying to just do a lot of videos of me playing games, and I've talked to people that I trust, that are around this, and they've often encouraged me to edit my gaming videos. But if you just look at how many I've put out there, editing takes a long time, and just would make when I was actively pumping out new videos, I couldn't have pumped out nearly as many if I was editing them to anything significant. But this is much more meant to have, I don't know if scripted would be the right term, because whenever I tried to read a script, it comes off very stilted. Now, I'm sure if I do something enough, it'll get better at it, but I don't know if I'll ever get good at it. Where definitely the idea of notes, have the facts, figures, an outline for what I'm planning on saying, all of that prepared, and then make the video and then edit it up into a good compact form. So I don't know quite to the level of what we would think of as truly scripted content, but planning and knowing what I'm going to say before I start, yeah, that kind of thing. Can I shoot you from here? Well, you can shoot me. Well, thank you, ZZ. I hope you would enjoy it. There's one thing I got when I was fairly young, in my teen years that I still have, is a wall map that's about, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 10 feet long. And there's roughly 3 feet in a meter, so, It's big. It's a rubberized wall map. It's a relief, world map. So that's going to be on one of the walls for the studio, so that I can point to places that I'm talking about. That kind of thing. As a backdrop.
Oh no, we're being flanked by Italians.
Uh-oh.
In their pizza cars. It's pizza time.
Would you show slideshow computer screens? Well, yeah, definitely. I'm planning on having a camera on me, but yes, also slideshow. So both is the
So we
plan.
can finally see him. Yes.
Yes, and yes, I am wearing clothes, but I'm not wearing. I'm just wearing a white T-shirt and pants. And I don't mean English, like when they say pants, I mean underwear. No, I mean trousers. But I'll have to pay attention, and I sort of rolled out of bed for this stream because I know you guys weren't seeing me. But I will have to pay attention to my appearance. Make sure that hair's washed and brushed before coming on camera, that kind of thing. That I don't have to do for this. But so yes, there would be a certain amount of that kind of thing necessary. Hello, those are bombs. And they're just far enough away that I didn't get hurt. Secondary weapon of an M22 is its engine. The primary is still the gun, but ability is its key. Okay. I've really seen him on there. And an Italian car gun. Artillery A. But I need to get my studio built up. It's obviously just a bedroom that it's going to have sort of a set put in it. I've got most all the components that I need for it, just got to do it. And right now that room is full of boxes. Well, although I've completed my move out of California, I've still got a lot of moving to do. Oh, I see. And he got me, damn. Probably won't be able to completely, but I want to not focus on modern topics. Focus mostly on historical stuff. Maybe relate it to the modern world, but it's looking to be more of a... It's not... I don't intend it, at least, to be something like Crisis Report. And that, talking about the crisis of the day, in the world or whatever. But, yeah, if you can find a... sort of a historical angle to stuff, sure, yeah, but mostly talk history and my thoughts on all of the stuff in history as well as just historical facts. So definitely opinion there, but also fun because one of the things I recently got were a bunch of different high capacity older magazines for the 1911, like 30 rounders, and I want to see how well they work, and that could be a good video and whatnot. Will they function reliably instead of just a 7-round standard magazine? And also, fun. I want to get out and shoot my, for the camera and whatnot, my artillery Luger and compare a gun with a shoulder stock, etc., versus a just a single handheld pistol, particularly at the time, and not the two handheld, the modern sort of various Weaver type descended stances, but to show how well and how effective something like a shoulder stocked pistol would be, and talk about and relate it to history in a time period, but also fun shooting things and that kind of stuff too. So in some ways very conventional, in some ways I'll try to put an interesting spin on it. Well, I want to thank Dino and Arno for playing with me, for ZZ, Folk, M. Ryder I know was here, and everybody else who happened to be watching. Thank you for Deep Sea Tanker. Yeah, you were here too. Just scrolling up. Thank you so much. We're going to call it a day for now. At least I am. I don't think I'll be streaming next Saturday. And again, I have not figured out what I'm going to do about Saturday and Sunday streams. I'm planning on going to a gun show a few hours away from me on Saturday. But I do believe the Sunday after we'll do more War Thunder. So that'll be, I don't have anything planned on Sunday. So I'm going to see about how long we continue Saturday and Sunday streams. And what I'm thinking is not ending streaming. It's just moving to some other day or whatnot. And I don't know. Don't know yet. But definitely when I can, I'd like to stream on Saturdays because I find it fun. So thank you all. I will hopefully see you Sunday, guys. And if I don't end up going to the gun show for some reason, I will stream on Saturday. But hopefully not.
See you.
Yeah. Okay.